Hello people! Today we're starting on summer nails and we'll start off with a set of neons. I have got some prepped medium length oval tips. Ta-da! And we're going to start off with a layer of white. Just an FYI, if you're going to be doing neon, the color will pop a lot more. It'll be brighter if you put it over white. So that is why we are doing that. This set took me about 2 hours to do, and I think pretty much most skill levels can do it. Now you notice I'm skipping the ring finger, as that is going to be black. I know black doesn't really scream summer, but I think black with neon always looks really cool, so that's what we did. And just as I was about to put this rack in the cure, I accidentally knocked it over against the side and knocked some of them off, so I had to fix them. Anyway, we're going in with the second coat. Second coat on the black one obviously is going to be black, and the second coat on the rest of them are going to be the neon color. Now originally I was going to do these with pigments, and then I decided, why do I need that mess when I have neon polish that will do just as good and actually end up being brighter? So that's why I nixed the pigments on here. I thought there was a hair on that black one, but I couldn't get it. I couldn't find it after the first time I saw it, and then I kept trying to get it off, and nothing was coming off, so I gave up. I don't think there's a hair still in there, but we're using Makartt polish for the neon colors. And we're starting off with the green. Moving on to the orange. Now they look a little Halloween-y right here, but we'll remedy that in a second. And moving on to yellow. And last but not least, for the thumb, we got pink. And those are ready to cure, and they have been cured. And now we're on to the second coat of the neons. We don't need any more on the black one. Obviously, I've sped this up now. And moving along. Okay, now those have all been cured, and we're moving on to the spots. I'm going to be using the black, and we're going to be working with blooming gel. Now, I didn't want these in a nice straight line or anything. I just kind of wanted it to be a little bit more natural looking, like a little bit kind of, I don't know how to describe it. You've seen the finished ones. You knew what I was going for. Now, originally when I did these, I'm sorry, I'm out of shot again. I put the blooming gel on all of them on that rack. Well, not the black one, but the neon ones. And by the time I got to the first two, got done with the first two, and I went on to go on to the orange one, the blooming gel had not dried or cured, but it wasn't blooming the stuff. It was just like sitting there when I put the dots of the polish on. So now I only am going to do those one at a time as I'm going along. Okay, we're just going to dot that black on there. Try to leave room for it to bloom and spread out. On some of these, as I was going along, on some of the nails, I got them too close together, like those right there. And there's not really any room for it to go anywhere when it's trying to bloom. Also, I cured these as I was going to, because if I had let this sit there on the rack until I got all of them done, the first couple would have bloomed out so far it would have just been like a solid mess. It would not have looked good. You can already see the pink one is already kind of bloomed out as much as it really should be. It should have gone in the lamp right there. At first I was going to do the whole rack, and then I saw how much that was spreading, and I'm like, oh, nope, got to get that in there. Now you're not going to see it because it happened as I was putting it into the lamp. The whole nail flipped off of the nail stand and was laying upside down on my gloved hand. So needless to say, on the pink one, I had to wipe that one all off and start over with the blooming gel and the dots. So I'm not going to show you all of that nonsense, but just know things don't always go perfectly. And as I like to say, I make all the mistakes so you guys don't have to. Okay, now those have gone in for curing, and now I'm just going to do these one at a time with the blooming gel. And secondly, you don't need a whole lot of the blooming gel. It's kind of thick, so you really kind of got to brush it out. But we're just moving on. I start off with them spread out nicely apart so they have room to bloom, and then it seems like as I get towards the bottom, they start getting closer and closer together. This particular nail kind of reminds me of Chester Cheetah. That's the mascot for Cheetos. I don't know why, but it's that bright orange, I guess, with the dots. I don't know. I was thinking, though, as I was doing this would be a real easy way to do a set of, like if you were doing wild animal nails, this would be an awesome way to do the giraffe one. I think it would work really well. At some point, I am going to do what I'm going to call a safari set with like a mixed bag of animal print, but haven't gotten around to it yet. It's on my list. Every time I think of an idea for something, I write it down on my list, and then when I'm getting ready to do nails, if I don't have anything planned already for that week, I consult my list and pull something off of there. Okay, this is the pinky, so yeah, see, those are way too close together. They're already running together there. Frankly, I should have probably wiped that one off and started over. I tried to vary the size of the dots a little bit too, so they're not all exactly the same. Alright, now those have all been cured, and that's where we are so far. Easy peasy so far. Now, we're going to do neon flowers. We're going to use this flower mold. Now, these are the flowers that everybody was using like about a year ago on everything. And at that time, I bought one of these molds off of a lady that was selling them in her shop, because I really like the idea of being able to make the embellishments the exact same color as the polishes I'm using, so it goes perfectly with the set. So we're just going to start off with some pink. Now, the ones that I had bought prior to this that were pre-made, they only had the medium and the smalls in there. So this one was like a really big one. This is a large one. Now, I didn't do it on that particular one like I should have, and I've sped this up because this took me quite a while to do all these. You need to poke down inside of there because parts of this molds are really deep, and I wanted to make sure it didn't have bubbles in there. And then if you look at the little flowers, if you consider those to be like a pool, swimming pool, and the flat part of the mold is the deck, I'm going to say you don't want to have a bunch of polish on your deck because once they're cured, that will cure with it. And then you have to spend, oh, there's the hair. Then you have to spend a long time with either an X-Acto knife or some tiny nail scissors and cut all that excess stuff off. So you see me right now, I'm trying to clean off that stuff. I try to just push it back towards into the pool part of the mold. So it's not, there's no film left up on the deck. So that's what I'm doing when I'm doing that, in case you were wondering. Now there are some of these that I was a little bit sloppy on, and I did have a few that I had to sit there with my X-Acto knife and clean them up a bit. But it wasn't too bad. But I found also when you put the polish into the mold, if you take your brush and spread it out so that it's touching all the edges, then you only have to put more really in the middle because it will, you know how it self-levels, it will just spread out as long as it's got other polish to go to. So if you've got it all along the edges, it will just go out and fill all that in. If you don't have it along the edge, then A, you're going to have a bubble, and B, it's just not going to fill in all the way and it's going to look weird. Now I'm just cleaning this off and shoving it back into the middle with some alcohol, which you don't want to have too much of that on your brush either because then the polish does weird stuff. Okay, I think we're good. I'm going to cure this for 90 seconds, and when it's done, which it is there, I'm going to flip it over like I just did, and then I'm going to put it back in for another 90 seconds. Now, since some of these flowers were really deep, like those real big ones, I cured it on the first side for an additional 60 seconds. Now, see, that one has a big bubble. I can't use that one. That's a trash one. That one is, I didn't poke down in there at the beginning as well. So I had to do a couple more batches of these till I could accumulate enough flowers to do what we needed to do. That green one's got a bubble there too, so that's out. So I'm not going to make you guys sit through watching me do a couple more batches of them, but just know this is how I did it. And then once it's cured, they'll just pop right out. The reason I added another 60 seconds to the first side curing was because with this first batch that came out, I noticed on the big flowers, hey, we got a good one. On the big flowers, when I squished them down, on the pink one that had the bubble on it that I'm not going to use, when I squished it down flat, there was uncured gel inside of there that came out. So that's why I added the extra 60 seconds on. You'll see all that junk on the outside of there. That is what I had to clean off. And beside the fact that it takes time to clean that extra stuff off, trying to hold on to these tiny little parts where you can even work with, oh, there's a bad one, but you can even work with trying to keep a grip on them and clean them off. It's hard. It's just really hard to hang on to them and do it. So this one's not the greatest either. I think that one got trashed too. And normally I don't have these issues with the bubbles. But see, those are the bad ones up there. They got to be redone. You can see how there are bubbles in them. The other ones were keepers. Okay, so I did all the rest of those. I redid them. I got enough to work with. Now I've set those aside, and now I'm going to take some black gel paint, and I'm just going to go with a thin line along the edge of where the blooming gel is. and just finish that off with a nice smooth line so it's not, so it just has a nice finished edge to it. And we're just going to go around on that part. We're not outlining the rest of the outside of the nail, just like so. I don't remember if I show you the whole, all of these or not, but well, I guess we're going to find out. It looks like maybe I did. I sped this part up too because doing these little skinny lines, sometimes it takes me a bit, and I didn't want to make you guys sit through this too long. But we're going to do this on all of them. The other rack I will do off camera. And I'm almost out of shot, but not quite. And I don't know what just happened right there. I think somebody might have come in and was talking to me. Okay, now we're going to cure those. I cure this for 90 seconds. And there's where we are so far. Now, if you're doing this in the correct order, now is where you should put your top coat on. I completely forgot, and I went straight in with gluing my flowers on. So I ended up having a top coat around them at the end, but definitely want to do your top coat first before this step. Okay, I'm going to use these hot pink opal crystals, and we're going to use these black kind of gunmetal caviar beads. And then we're just going to glue them on. Okay, I'm just checking out, kind of figuring out what I want to do here. And I guess I had decided, and on we go with the glue. Okay, the big one's going to go right on there. Frankly, the hardest part of this whole set was doing those flowers in the molds. The rest of it was easy peasy. So if you have some of these flowers, you don't have to, and you don't want to have the mold and make your own, you can buy these in a lot more variety of colors than they used to have last time. Initially, you could only get them in pink or white, like a pale pink. So I have both of those. Then they came out with some pastel ones, so I got those. And then I was thinking, then I saw somebody selling the molds, so I'm like, hey, I must have that. So I can make them any color I want. On a side note, though, I think I have a problem, you guys. I keep buying more polish. I really do not need any more polish, but I think I'm up to very close to like 300 bottles of gel polish now. And we all know I'm never going to use all of that up. I can't seem to stop myself from buying more. On a related note to that, though, if anybody knows of a good white polish that doesn't cost an arm and a leg, I need to get some, because mine is really getting low. So if you got any suggestions, please put them in the comments. And don't suggest Madam Glam, because that is too expensive for me. Even I looked on their clearance section at one point, and even in there, the bottles of polish were, were like $10 to $12, and that's just too much for polish for me. I can't spend that much on it. Okay, I'm just going to fill in some of the spots here with a couple of the little pink crystals. Add a little bit more glue. I was going to stick that little pink flower in there, but changed my mind. Okay, and once I'm happy with that, I will put it in there to cure. And there we go. Now it's back out. I'm just going to put a little dot of glue in the center of these flowers. And then we will pop the caviar beads in there. In hindsight, I'm thinking I should have probably put like maybe 3 of these inside of the big flower, but I did not. So if I remake this set for somebody, I will probably do that because I think it will look better. And boop. And I'm going to cure that again now. Actually, I could have done that before I cured it in the first place, but I did it in 2 steps. Okay, and I also decided I was going to put a couple on the thumbs just to tie them in. And I had enough extra flowers to do that. So I'm not going to show, this is the only other one I'm going to show you. You guys have seen me glue stuff onto the nails a gazillion times now. So these things were really hard to hold on to. Every time I'd get one picked up with the tweezers, I'd squeeze it just a little too hard and it would pop out and go flinging all over the place. Now I'm thinking too, if I had used that mold and done the flowers with acrylic, it would have probably been easier to do because you put your bead in there and then you just mash it down in really good. That would have eliminated the bubble situation, I think. So that's something to think about. I don't have that many different color acrylics, so I'm not going to do it like that, although I could mix some with pigment, but then we're getting into a messy situation and more work than I really wanted to do. Secondly, I like to use the gel polish for them because then they stay flexible. Whereas if you do them with acrylic, they're going to be stiff and hard and they're not going to be able to fit to the contour of the nails in the case where you need them to bend around a little. Okay, I believe that one's all done. That's what we got. And we're moving on to top coat, which, as I said, should have been done prior to the flowers going on there. So I'm using my tempered top coat on this. I will do the neon ones first and then go back and do the ones where I have to paint around the flowers with it. And it really doesn't matter if it gets on the flowers, but you don't want to get it on the crystals. So you need to be a little more careful around the crystals. The rest of the stuff is okay. And I will finish the rest. Oh no, we're gonna do this one too. I will finish the other rack off camera, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, those are gonna cure. And there we are, all done. I thought this would be kind of a nice start to the summer nail set. If you like them, I'd really appreciate it if you give me a like. And if you want to see more, I upload new videos every Saturday. So go ahead and subscribe if you want to see that. And I thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.